Good afternoon, Master Duel fans. First things first, such tragic news has upon us in the Yu-Gi-Oh community as we all found out that the creator Kazuki Takahashi has passed on, moved on into the afterlife. So, with that being said, let us have a moment of silence in honor of our creator. Thank you. And with that being said, let's get into today's games. Based off from this hand, it's definitely something. 2 set, Subterra Cave Clash, and a set. So, Subterra Cave Clash here, so first off, up against Subterrors. Subterrors gain 500 boost for every set monster, nice. And then once per turn when a Subterror monster does battle damage to your opponent, target one Subterror card, spell trap included, that is in Cave Clash, add it back to the hand. Interesting. And it's a soft once per turn on the Cave Clash. So the more copies of these on the field, the more recursion. Top decks the Elegance, which we are going to complete the scale by sending Fancia, normals the other, activates Junk Sleep. Interesting. If your opponent normal or specials a monster or monsters more than one, change all face down defense into face up attack position. During the end phase, change all monsters you control to face down defense. Well, that's one niche tech of Junk Sleep. Fantia Electromites Gracia scales up 1 and 8. That means levels 2 through 7. Gracia and Angelia, Pendulum Summon. Gracia gets Harmonia. What do we hit? Subterra Guru. Okay, so first things first. Flip, add a Subterra card from deck to hand that isn't Guru. You normally get the effect, but because we have Gracia, even scale, Cutia, that means Armades of monster effects. And on top of that, we have Angelia on board, odd in scale, Coolia. It is Armades of spells and traps. So in other words, both Gracia and Angelia together on the same field, nothing can be activated once the Solfachord Pendulum monster attacks. And as for Guru's other effect, target one other face-up monster anywhere on the field, change it to face-down, as well as this card. It is a quick effect, as long as you have another Subterra card you control. Most cases, Cave Clash. At base Harmonia, Harmonia does not target kill something. Infinite Impermanence, nice. Angelia Tribute. That is a pretty sweet animation. To special summon Coolia. Terraforming for the Hidden City. And I'm surprised that Hidden City is not a UR though. Wow. In any case, activation of Hidden City once. And then first chance Hidden City activates, add a Subterra monster from deck to hand. So basically tanky of Subterras. And then change one face down defense Subterra to face up attack or face up defense. And on top of that, whenever your opponent swings, change one face down defense Subterra to face up attack or defense. Then you can negate the attack. Interesting. Activates Hidden City. Gets the Subterra Fiendus. And I'm surprised that she's actually not a super or ultra as well, because in terms of IRL lists, Fiendus is literally like one of those second best cards at the very least. But yet in Master Duels they made her a normal. Interesting. So Fiendus here, she is basically Omni Negate whenever your opponent activates something, in terms of having a sub-terror face up on the field so you can change it to face down. And on top of that, target one face up monster, any face up monster, not just sub-terrors, but any face up monster, Fiendus itself included, change it to face down, and if you do, reborn one sub-terror from hand or graveyard and face up or face down defense. Each effect of Fiendus once. Normal summons the Fiendus. Fiendus targets herself. Both Fiendus and Guru booked. Hidden City. Guru getting flipped and receives Sub-Terror Behemoth Ultramophus. Level 12 Earth Pyro with 3000 attack. First chance that it gets flipped, change all face-up monsters to face-down defense, all the other ones. So basically this is Book of Eclipse. When a face-up monster you control is flipped face down, if you control no face-up monsters, special summon this from your hand in defense. Once per turn, change this card to face-down defense. So, and this is the exact gimmick that the Behemoths receive, as in sharing the same thing with all of them. The Behemoth versions. Guru over Fansia. Guru attempts to book Kulia, but Kulia, as a quick effect, not necessarily a quick effect, but it's more like one of them other ignition or trigger tops, is where whenever an effect of a monster on the field is activated with an equal or lower attack than the highest scale in your zone times 300, I can immediately kill that monster, which is insanely nuts. Kulia negating Hidden City and Junk City. Gracia and Kulia for Musia. Normal summon Cutia. Or Dreamia. Dreamia to extend. Harmonia to increase scale. Just so we can guarantee Pendulum Show. And funny enough about this is that I really wanted to summon out Kulia as well in terms of more damage, but I said to myself, nah, we want to do some safety measures just in case. But anywho, Gracia get a spell trap, and then Musia targets Angelia, grabs Elitia, and Gracia gets scaled. And at this point, that is game. This next clip of this challenge, judging by the sleeves, which is amazing by the way, I'm guessing something fire based, I don't know. And then second of all, based off from this hand, I think this is doable. Activate to Ignite Reload, sending away Crusader and Squire. Metaphor Silver, Ignite Squire, Scales of 1 and 7, meaning levels 2 through 6 to Pendulum Shogun. So that means both Crusader and Gallant tribute off for Ignite Champion. While this card is in your hand, target 3 Ignite cards you control, kill them, and if you do special dish from hand, of course. Once per turn, target one other Ignite monster you control, target as cost. The resolution is return it to the hand, and if you do, place one monster your opponent controls on the bottom of the deck. So basically rises, but bottom, and the bottom of the deck doesn't target. Harmonia activates. Normal summon Cutia gets the Coolia. Scale the Coolia. Scale the Dreamia. Scales 1 and 7. Pendulum Shogun levels 2 through 6. Gracia and Angelia. Gracia gets Scale. Harmonia does not target kill the champion. Angelia tributes Cutia for Elitia. Elitia returns Silvered. Scale. Return Dreamia to hand and place Cutia in Scale. Special summon Dreamia from the Scale, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, would have been nice if we had one more Solfachord monster just to blow up all face-up cards your opponent controls. So let's see what would have been one of the missing ones. 1, 2, 3. Either Fancia or Butia. So have Fancia or Butia would have shown up when Scale was played, I would have been over the moon. Dreamia and Elitia for Musia. Harmonia adds Dreamia, and Dreamia used the extension effect, which we never did today. And Solfachord's getting in there for some extra damage. Gracia and Dreamia for Phoenix kills on Squire. Musia and Phoenix for Abomination. And the Ignite players scooped. And this next clip of this challenge, two things in mind. A, based off from this hand, no sight of Solfachord monsters right now. And B, looking at this no extra deck thing, I'm guessing that's either Exodia, Monarchs, True Dracos, or Burn. Piercing the Darkness. Activates Chain Energy. Cauldron of the Old Man. Gain to 500. Alright. It literally does nothing for Piercing the Darkness. And then Chain Energy here. Each player must pay 5 to normal, special, set, or activate cards from his or her hand respectively. Cauldron of the Old Man here. Once activated, and during your standby phase, place a counter. So, minimum of 2 counters, assuming that if I don't have any removal, at least. So, when it comes to Cauldron, activate one of those. Burn 300 to your opponent for each counter, otherwise gain 500 life for each counter. Drew into another Elegance, no sight of Solfachord monsters still, and then Gravity Bind, level 4 or higher, cannot attack. Cauldron with another counter. Gain 500 per counter, so 1,000. And then a second copy of Chain Energy. And this is where Elitia is going to do the work, most of it. Elegance throws away Elitia to complete the scale. Pendulum Shogun. Levels 2 through 7 only. Chain Energy paid at 1,000 for Pankratops. Elitia returns Gravity Bind, just to have Pankratops attack as well. Cauldron gains a counter. Chain Pankratops to spot removal Cauldron. Chain Energy pay 1,000 to set one. Pay another 1,000 for Injection Fairy Lily. Elitia over Injection, Gravity Bind flipped up, she doesn't care. 2,000 paid off, and Elitia is out. Now, if you are wondering, why did I not take too much damage? Even scale, which we do, Cutia. No battle damage involving Solfachord Pendulum monsters. That does include Elitia. Pendulum Shogun once again. Return Piercing the Darkness. And at this rate, because my opponent is at 800 life points, while the 2 Chain Energy is out, your opponent is not allowed to put anything out from the hand. Pay 1,000 for Bell. Bell and Elitia for Alsa, aka Velma. Pendulum Shogun, only one. Elitia. And shout out to all of my wonderful nerds with glasses. Alsa, aka Velma, and Elitia, aka Sailor Mercury. Elitia returns Gravity Bind, and that is game. This next clip of this challenge, based off from his hand, normal summon Fancia electromites Gracia, scales the Angelia, and opponent drops Maxine. You know, I think it's safe to say that we pretty much have to stop on this turn. And for the record, odd scale, right? Yep, odd scale, and according to Fancia, yeah, we do have odd scale. And funny enough, I thought for sure, let me see. Oh no, it wouldn't make no difference, no way, because Fancia still has that saving grace of battles, so in terms of odd scale. But in any case, normal connector, specials Dolphin, Chaos Space ditches Chaos Valkyria for Black Dragon. Activates Rhoda for Blue Mountain Butterspy. In the early years of Goki, this was seen in terms of extension. So, cannot be normal summon or set, can't be used as secret material, so basically any other material except Synchros, which they don't care about. When you normal summon a warrior monster, special this for hand, not once. So if you have multiple copies, of Blue Mountain Butter Spy, go crazy. Show me a soul. And a soul it is. Now, I'm surprised my opponent didn't actually use Dolphin for that matter. Dolphin and Connector are on the field at the time period, so highest is 800 out of the two, and then 16, 11, 6. Yeah, Aqua Dolphin could have just ripped out Dreamia from hand to the graveyard. I would have lost 500 points, and then opponent proceeds to combo off. It's sold for BLS Envoy at the beginning. It's sold sending 1 United We Stand for Super Soldier Soul. And for the record, is that even a warrior? I mean, I get it. Anything that involves BLS support technically are warriors, and hence why that armor, or most cases the soul, I can understand why it's a warrior. So in this case, send 1 BLS from hand to grave until your opponent's next end phase. Its attack becomes 3000. Jesus Christ. And this card's name is BLS. Banish this from graveyard, add 1 beginning night or evening twilight night from deck to hand. Each effect once. Banishes Valkyria for Black Dragon. Chaos Valkyria tosses out Neospace Connector. And then Chaos Space returns Valkyria to the bottom, draw 1. Lap Serpent for Striker Dragon. Black Dragon getting White Dragon. Banish Black Dragon for White Dragon. For 4. Appaloosa for 4. 4 monster negates. Dreamia for extension. Appaloosa negates Dreamia. Fantia attempts to activate. Appaloosa negates Fantia yet again. Scales to Dreamia. Scales 3 and 7, meaning levels 4 through 6 are allowed to Pendulum Summon. Now, if you're wondering why Appaloosa cannot negate this, it is because your opponent cannot activate Spell Trap or Monster Effect whenever your Solfachord Pendulum monster is being Pendulum Summoned. In other words, we are guaranteed to get their effects off. With the likes of Gracia, Cutia, and Musea, for example, so that way Gamma, Ash, or any other hand trap will not be able to interfere. And on top of that, the Pendulum Summon of Solfachord Pendulums can't be stopped. So that means no judgments, no secret spicy black horns, none of the whole shenanigans stuff. And Gracia gets Gracia over Appaloosa, and Fantia for 16. Setting the 2. Normal summons Evening, Twilight, Night specials. Blue Mountain Butter Spy banishes a Light in the Dark for BLS. Now, Evening, Twilight, Night here, as well as Beginning Night once you ever get to see it. A BLS monster, Ritual monster, that ends up using Ritual Summon within the materials, gain the supernatural effects. So they both share the same thing, is that once per turn, target 1 monster your opponent controls, banish it. And then as for the second effect of Evening, Twilight, Night, which is different by the way, banish 1 random card from opponent's hand face down until your opponent's next end phase. And then in this one for Evening, Twilight, Night, banish from grave, add 1 ritual monster from deck to hand. BLS to banish Gracia. BLS used as material for a BLS link, and have I would have done anything in this situation? And this was before either Gracia or after Gracia got banished. Let's see. Odd scales. and Evening Scale out of Gracia. Truth be told, I should have used Musica just to kill the BLS, but in fairness, I really didn't know what maneuver that the BLS player was trying to do. So as it turns out, making the BLS link with the BLS, at that point, I said to myself, yeah, I'm pretty much screwed now, so BLS link over Fancia. BLS link gained an extra 15. Pendulum Reborn's Fancia. Musica for another Fancia. Fancia Electromiting Bucia. Double Fancia for Bucia. 3 and 7, levels 4 through 6. Double Fancia. R.I.P. Mascarina. Bucia and Mascarina for Avramax. Avramax over BLS Link. And it gains that much attack since it battles a special summon monster. Gateway to Chaos. So basically tanky of BLS Ritual or Gaia the Fierce Knight monster. Each time a monster card sent to the grave off from the hand or field, place 1 spell counter on it, max of 6. Remove 3, add 1 ritual spell from deck to hand. Activate 1 Gateway to Chaos per turn. Now, Super Soldier here, aside from the Super Soldier ritual requirement, that is, if this card kills an opponent's monster by battle and sends to the graveyard, burn your opponent equal to its attack in the graveyard. Lame. If this card gets killed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or in your possession gets killed by an effect because of an opponent's card effect and sent to grave, special 1 Gaia the Fierce Knight monster from hand, deck, or graveyard. Special summon Super Soldiers once. Banishes the soul for Beginning Night. In this one for Beginning Night, when this card kills an opponent's monster by battle and sends to the graveyard, activate this. You get to make a second attack in a row. And just like Evening Twilight Night, banished from graveyard, instead of Ritual Monster, it is Ritual Spell from deck to hand. And 1 set. Pendulum Shogun, levels 4 through 6. Double Fancia. Tribute the 2 Fancias from Kulia. Normal's Elitia, return. And the BLS players scooped. This next clip of this challenge, my hand is something interesting. So, set 1, normal summons Altergeist Millisig. So, question is, I'm convincing this has to be Altergeist of sorts, and if it wasn't, even if it wasn't, then I'm pretty sure this leads to some spellcasting based decks. And speaking of spellcaster, Secret Village of the Spellcaster. You know, I got the gut feeling that you will pull off some of the BS maneuvers like this. And funny enough, I was gonna consider scooping to Secret Village, but I said to myself, nah, I'm going to fight like the man I am in this match. Normal summon Elitia. Elitia returns Secret Village, just so we can play the spell game again throws away Angelia off Elegance to complete the scale. Scales 1 and 8, 2 through 7 are pendulums, Shoken. Fancia Electromites, Gracia, and turns out Gravity Bind is in place, so that means Elitia is the only one to attack, which is fair. Also, when Gravity Bind was triggered, no multi-faker, so I'm guessing there's no sight of multi-faker in hand. Angelia attributes for Coolia, Fancia and Elitia for Musea, and 1 set. Normal summons Chocolate Magician Girl. Okay, so this is Spellcaster based decks after all. So Ditche Spellcaster, draw a card, soft ones. And then once per turn, whenever a card is targeted, this card for an attack, target one spellcaster, except Chaco, special it, change the attack target to it, and in the attack, cut in half. Secret Sanctuary of the Spellcasters. When a monster that isn't a spellcaster is no more special to the opponent's side while you control another face-up spell, Secret Village, and your opponent does not control any face-up spells, we got scales. So what could have happened is that monster cannot declare an attack or activates its effects. Even if this card leaves the field, it still works. If you do not control any spellcaster type monsters, kill this card. Chocolate Girl Ditching, Sorcière de Fleur. No more special, target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special it, but cannot direct attack your opponent, and it gets killed during the end phase. Interesting. Hard once on this card. And drew one, which happens to be a spell or trap. So in this situation, anything I do in terms of attacking Chocolate, I'm basically gonna get slaughtered no matter what. So what we're going to do is we're gonna have Coolia negating the Secret Village and the other spell. Musea trading scales for Coolia and Fancia. Scales 1 and 8. Levels 2 through 7 to Pendulum Shoken. Gracia, Angelia, Pankratops, and Fancia. Gracia, get the spell trap, and Musea targets Angelia for Elitia. Gracia gets scale. Pankratops tribute. Kill that face down, which happens to be Drowning Mirror Force. And even if you were to set that Drowning Mirror Force, it actually doesn't make a difference because we have both Gracia and Angelia together on board. These two are literally our mateys. Activate Scale. Return Cutia to place another one in Scale. Specials Elitia offering a Scale. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, let's see who's the missing one. Coolia, Angelia, Gracia, Fancia, Elitia. Okay, so it's either Dreamia or Butia are the missing two, just so that the whole entire blowing up your opponent's face-up board would have been over the moon. Elitia returns Gravity Bind, and that is game. this last clip, based off from this hand, it's something. So, Shatter Foil, Reinforcement of the Army. Interesting. Almost forgot. Based off from this no extra deck stuff, it's either Monarchs, True Dracos, Burn, or Exodia. But you know, there's the Rhoda, so that means it's either Monarchs or something else. Idea, interesting. Almost Idea. Specials, Idols. Now, here's the thing about Monarchs, by the way. Back in 2016, shoutouts to Eric Christensen for winning 2016 Nationals with Monarchs, of all things, which is insanely nuts. Idols for the extra summon. At the base domain. You know, I got the gut feeling you would pull off such BS maneuvers like this, but Majesty's Fiend? Terrible. So in this case, if I don't find answers to deal with Majesty's Fiend, I'm pretty much losing the game. And on top of that, Domain is on board, we cannot special from extra deck, which stinks a whole lot. And furthermore, originally I was going to scoop away this match, but I said to myself, no, we're going to keep on fighting like the man I am. Scale the Butia, scale the Elitia, scales of 2 and 6, levels 3 through 5, Pendulum Shoken. Double Fancy, 1 in defense, just in case if we cannot get over Majesties. Fancia over Eidos. Majesty's Fiend over anti-position Fancia. So guys, that's gonna do it. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification bell to keep yourself constantly updated, and I'll catch you guys next time.